Hey, this is Gecko Mayhem. This is another Godforge video. It is day 7 of the Godforge beta. As you can see here in the background, I have a team. I use the term lightly because it's 2 heroes, but it is still a team. My team is clearing stage 9 of the Echo Realm on story mode, and the clear takes between 35 and 40 seconds. It is pretty fantastic to be able to farm the campaign like this for XP and for that juicy gold. Let's crack into it, however. I will jump back to the game. I will stop the auto battles. Oh, it did 50 battles in the time that I was fiddling with some settings and so on. That is incredible. 43 seconds for that one, which is on the slower side because Keyscene does not have 100% crit. What's been happening around the place? I've popped a whole lot of shards. I've got a whole lot of new heroes. I have leveled up a whole lot of food. I have completed a quest. Look at this. One more quest down. I completed the weekly quest after the weekly reset. I completed the monthly quests. And I got my reward. I got a flawless shard. In fact, I got 2 flawless shards today. One was from the monthly quest, and the funny thing is, I enhanced 15 pieces of armor to level 16 in order to complete it because I didn't think I was going to get a legendary weapon. But look what happened 5 seconds after I completed that monthly quest to level 15 pieces of gear to 16.
Cool.
Oh! After all that, after I got the monthly done, can you believe that? I pulled a legendary 5 seconds after I got the monthly done. Marco Huitel, attacks decrease enemy HP, attack, and defense by 5%. That is how you weaken an enemy. And it's defense and crit damage. Yeah, that's real nice. And we're back. So yes, I pulled a legendary weapon very shortly after that. It is Marco Huitel, yeah, which I haven't leveled. I am not using it at present, but it seems like a pretty decent weapon indeed. While we're on Keyscene here, I will show you what he has been up to. He is running 2,600 attack. He is running 188 speed, which is pretty decent, and he has 89% crit. It is so close. If I can level this weapon with its substat of crit, I should be able to get his crit up to 100%. I was using the bow, but the bow seems to be bugged. The rear bow here does not increase hit chance as it says on the description there. So Keyscene's very well geared now. As you can see, I've leveled all of his gear to 16. I have attuned his gear because he is ascended 4. He is looking pretty solid, and that is how I can farm the campaign with him. Other heroes. Eugen is now level 50. I think he was yesterday. I don't have any better gear for him. I've been using Musashi. I did some testing, so I'm going to go into that in a little bit. But first, the second flawless stone that I got today was from completing the campaign. That is Echo Stage 10. Here, I got 3 stars. It was absolutely epic. Check this out.
Should be neutral, yeah. See how little damage it's doing? It's barely tapping him. Oh, I should have saved that, whatever. Did it. All it took was 3 Slayers. All it took was 3 Slayers. I can't believe how much your Ishtar is hitting for, though.
You defeated the mighty.
I got my stone. Yes.
Okay, so completely cleared the campaign, got my flawless stone, popped my 2 flawless stones which I got today, 1 from the monthly quests, 1 from completing story mode completely. And I moved on to adventure mode. I started working my way through Avalon, 1 starring, barely scraping by, managing to just pass these stages. They are tough. They've done a good job of making adventure mode challenging for sure. The heroes, the enemies, they have more health, lots more health. They have superb buffs. Fisher King is an absolute monster. YDG hits so hard. It is tough. It is tough. Not quite as tough as completing Eker stage 10 on story mode. Well, actually no, it is tougher. That was a different kind of challenge, trying to do it in under 20 turns. It took me quite a bit of working on Keysene's gear and just working until I got it. Dungeons. I'm not pushing any of the Ascension dungeons. I've managed to get Svarog's Horde further, and I've managed to get Workshop of Ptah further. For various reasons. Svarog's Horde, I understand how the boss works. It's not terribly complicated. Ptah, not terribly complicated, but you need to get the right things working, and it is a bit bugged. So, first of all, I tested quite a few heroes on Workshop of Ptah to try and get rid of that buff, Might of Ptah, chip away at it, that kind of thing. And I tested a handful of different heroes, some of which were a bit of a waste of resources to get up. And I settled on Nitocris. Now, I am going to be testing Thorkel, or I was testing Thorkel, sorry, and I wanted to get that decreased defense because I figured you'd be doing a lot more damage to chip away at his health before he does his ultimate and that kind of thing. It wasn't really working terribly well. However, let's go to the hero screen and I will show you the heroes that I did test out and my results. Now, as I have shown in the past, Lee Nao Masa, I just could not get him to reduce the turn meter or anything. Just reduce the turn meter and therefore reduce the stacks of Might of Ptah. And then I looked at what else I had. I pulled Polyphemus today and I went, I'm going to just level him to level 50. I'm going to use my resources. I'm going to 5-star him, level him to 50 because he has a really good kit that's going to work very well because his basic attack has a 75% base chance of placing Despair. Put a bit of accuracy on him, he can place Despair. Went in, tried to place Despair, and yes, it places it, but it does not affect the buff on the boss. So that is bugged. So he was a failure. Hunapu, another one. If you can use his core, he actually decreases the target's turn meter. So if you get that 50% chance plus enough accuracy, it will decrease the turn meter. Does it work? Yes! Yes, it works really well. Is it effective? Not really, because it's a 5-turn cooldown. He has to take 5 turns before he can do it again. And it's kind of rough to take 5 turns. Meantime, you're going, the boss is going, you're waiting for your core, You need a way to reduce his core cooldown if you're going to effectively use Hunapu on that boss, especially at the higher levels. I used, before I stumbled onto Nitocris, Diao-chan. Diao-chan has a 2-meter pushback on her ultimate. So each hit, three time hit, each hit decreases the target's 2 meter by 5% if it lands. You need quite a bit of accuracy on this boss, and the later stages will require even more accuracy. But I saw her reduce it from 10 stacks to 0, which means that at least 2 of those 3 hits landed the target's 2 meter decrease. The thing is, it's an ultimate. You need her to cycle back to her ultimate as often as possible. I think I put a weapon on her that gives her divinity. I did. I put this weapon on her that gives her an initial 150 divinity at the start of each wave. So she's climbing. She gets to him. She does her ultimate at the start, and it either decreases it by 1, or if she completely misses, you're stuffed, but it's good. She works. She works quite well. And I saw her roll around to her ultimate maybe 3 or 4 times during the boss fight to get that Might of Ptah off the boss. So Diao-chan, another good one. The best one, as I said, is Nitocris. And she's here. And the reason for that is that her way of getting rid of it is on her basic attack. She has a chance on her basic attack to steal a random buff, and that includes Might of Ptah. So she was the clear winner in terms of the go-to hero that does that. And she's actually really useful also in Svarog's Horde, which is the boss Zmei, the 3-headed Hydra-type dragon. And that one there, Svarog's Horde. Stage 7 is a little bit rough for me. I went back to stage 6. And she takes the buffs that the boss puts up. So I have been learning these 2 bosses, Ptah and... I assume that boss is called Ptah, right? And Zmei in Svarog's Horde. So what they do, I will probably put together a boss guide at the end of the beta. Cool, because I'm learning these bosses and I'm learning what works. And what's bugged and doesn't work. So that is actually really cool. I'll get this going. I am actually going to swap him out for someone else, so I might have stripped gear off him, but we'll get it going. We'll see. If he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's all about landing debuffs as well on this boss. So if you can't land the right debuffs, then you're going to have a much harder time of it. And this boss will very likely, from stage 7 onwards, one-shot your team because it does a triple attack on its ultimate. That is if it gets to its ultimate. So if it gets to its ultimate, you're pretty much stuffed. Stage 6, it's kind of fine. You can defend against it. You need to be placing Ether Burn up on it and Faith down, and we can, in some way, like reduce attack and so on. But yeah, that's about it. 2 flawless stones in one day. And I pulled Set with 1. Yay. You know, whatever. I'm not going to use Set. And I pulled Jerry, one of Odin's hounds, with the other. And Jerry is actually a very cool defender. Well, not very cool, but Jerry is a good defender. Looked through his kit again. We did review him and Frecky, the one that does bleed. But overall, I think that Jerry is a pretty solid defender. If I didn't have Eugen as my core defender, I would probably build Jerry and try him out. I might still, within the scope of the beta, try to build him out and see if I can test him out a little bit more. But yes, today was a real day of testing things out for the beta, finding what worked, finding what didn't work. The heroes that come to the party and actually have a part to play, they are actually a key for the lock. There are different options across the board. The next thing I'm going to test is Machao, Umbrella Guy. Remember him?
It looks like he's holding an umbrella. But I know it's a sword. But...
I can see it now. Now I can't unsee it. Now I can't unsee it.
He's holding an umbrella.
He is carrying an umbrella.
I'm going to try him out because he does a handful of really useful things. One of which is turn meter manipulation in some way. I can't remember what it is exactly, but he's a slayer, so he should bring pretty decent damage. And he does Faith down. So because he places Faith down, it's going to be really useful on this. I just need a hero who does Ether Burn, and I think I'm sorted. But as you can see, absolutely no problem fighting Zmei with 2 level 40 heroes here. He's placing the buffs, the boss, and I'm actually able to go in, and she should take that buff from the boss on her turn. There, it's gone. And she reduced Gluttony, this debuff here, to 0 stacks. So we'll go to the info tab. We'll check. So Gluttony has been reduced to 0 stacks. It receives less damage, it gets extra faith, and it says it cannot be removed. You can't actually totally remove it, you can just drop it to 0 stacks. Well, that's everything for today's recap. Lots of food leveling to get other heroes up, lots of testing, quite a few more epics on the account, epics that I may not use, epics that I will put to the side until beta 2. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will make lots more progress between now and tomorrow's video. I feel like I'm going to push further in the adventure campaign. We will get through the second realm, hopefully. It is tough, but I know that I can get there with my strong Keyseen, who is looking better every day as I pour resources into him. I hope that you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.